Baseball, a game we have treasured from the first time we picked up a bat and grabbed a mitt. From the smell of a freshly mowed field to the sound of the crack of the bat. And there it goes, a soaring drive. For many, baseball has been ingrained into the very fiber of our being. The season is long. It's a test of mental and physical endurance. Yet we keep coming back, asking for more. No matter what color, religion, or origin, baseball is the common thread that brings us together. From a cornfield in Iowa, where they said if you build it, they will come, to the iconic Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. Baseball is America's game. Today we celebrate our national pastime as the field is being prepped and the players get ready for battle. Today we play ball. This is our field of dreams. This is baseball. APNvideo.com is on the air, and today, coming to you from Salt River Fields in Scottsdale, it's the Chicago Pinch Hitters and the Madison Blues, both teams needing a win to climb into the playoffs in the 50 and over Cactus. This is the 2022 Men's Senior Baseball League's World Series on APN. And I'm Jeff Lowry. It's a blustery afternoon for our national pastime. Both teams come in here with a record of 1-2. The winner of this game will be looking good for the playoffs, and the team that comes out not without a victory here today most likely won't make the playoffs, though anything can still happen. Madison comes out in the dark uniforms, and they are led by Eric Selge. And the Brain Trust, Ron Saslow, Bob Corvus over for the Chicago Pinch Hitters. So Madison representing the home team, as Jeff Adas will be the starting pitcher here today for the Blues. And it's really, I think, this is game 4 of the tournament for both teams, and I think this is kind of a must-win situation if either one of these teams want to make the playoffs. Chicago has had their one victory was over Indiana. They've lost to the Cubs and the Dallas-Fort Worth White Sox, while Madison lost to Indiana and lost to Rochester, and they beat the Sultans of Swat in their last game to go to a 1-2 record. Madison defensively, it'll be Sean Michael Dargan at first base, Oliveris at second, Schoenfeld short, Foskett at third. Roach is in left, Mark Tyler is in center field. We didn't get the right fielder. And the catcher today is going to be Omar Mendeville. And the first pitch of the contest is taken low for ball 1, and this game is underway. Well, it's a warm afternoon here, even though we've got some fairly high winds. We're expecting some gusts up near 20 miles per hour and a steady wind of somewhere between 12 and 15. Here's a ground ball, base hit up the middle. So a good start here for the pinch hitters. Doug Carafoil, who is their starting second baseman, and he rips one up the middle, a clean base hit, and this game is underway. That'll bring up shortstop Josh Wormser, and he goes after the first pitch and skies one out into left field, and Roach is there to make the catch, and there's one down. So 2 batters, a runner at first, 1 out, and Projansky will dig in from the right side, third place hitter for the pinch hitters. And the runner goes on the pitch, and the throw is going to be a little high by the catcher, and so our first base runner in scoring position in this game. No score, top of the first, just underway. And I didn't catch what the first pitch was. I believe it is 1-1. From Salt River Fields, the winter home of the Arizona Diamondbacks. And the Colorado Rockies were actually on the Diamondbacks' side. Jeff looking in for the sign. He kicks and deals, and he delivers a strike. There's a close-up look at Todd Perjanski with Joe Evans, the cleanup hitter, on deck for Chicago. Both teams coming in 1-2, and that one's fouled back. Got 3 other games going on in this facility as Todd swings and hits one way back into left field. But that ball will be caught, and the runner will retreat to second base, and Doug Carafoil 2 down in the inning. And that'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Joe Evans. Outstanding run producer for the Chicago pinch hitters. He takes a strike. We're in the 50 and over cactus. Well, we'd like to thank the Goodyear Tire Company for the aerial views as that ball hit the cleanup hitter, Joe Evans, and he will head down to first base. Ernesto Trujillo will dig in at the plate. One of the hard-nosed players for Ron Saslow's team. Courtesy runner is going to be Perjanski for Joe Evans. So now Ernesto Trujillo. First pitch is swung on and missed. Runners are at first and second with 2 out. We're in the top of the first inning. And a wave and a miss, and Trujillo quickly down, no balls, and 2 strikes. Here's a close-up look at your starting pitcher for the Madison Blues. And here's the runner going to third, and that ball goes out into left field. And unable to get his footing is Doug Carafoil. He probably would have scored, but he gets the stolen base, so he has stolen second and third. Runners are on the corners, and the pitch to Trujillo, and he stays alive by fouling it off to the right side. This one is bounced to the shortstop. His only play will be at first, and that will retire the side. No runs, 2 left. After a half an inning of play, the Chicago pinch hitters nothing, and Madison coming up. This is the 2022 Msbl World Series, and a look at the starting pitcher for the pinch hitters, the right-hander Robert Allen. And he is set to go. He'll be facing Andy Wynn, Steve Hirschfield, and Eddie Oswalt. And then if anybody gets on, cleanup hitter Glenn Griffin, Steve Bird, catcher Omar Mendeville, Steve Hill, Jason Foskett, Randy Oliveras, and from CBS News, Mike Wallace. First pitch called strike to Andy Wynn. I'll tell you, the 2 guys that are occupying the first slot in the batting order for both Chicago and Madison, Wisconsin, outstanding leadoff guys that can run, they can spray the ball, good on base percentage. In Doug Carafoil and right here in Andy Wynn, and those are the 2 guys you got to keep off the base paths. Pinch hitters got a base hit. They had a hit batsman and left 2 in that first inning. Pretty good cut right there on the leadoff hitter, Andy Wynn. And strike 3 called. He thought maybe it was ball 4. I think he really knew it. A backward K on the first batter of the ball game, Andy Wynn, and a strikeout for Robert Allen. As you look at the defense, With Carangello at first, Carafoil at second, Warmser at shortstop, Trujillo at third, Tanaka in left, Seaver center, Romano in right, and Alden Stiefel doing the catching for Robert Allen. A swing and a foul as Steve Hirschfield finds himself down, no balls and one strike. We're in the home half of inning number one from Salt River Fields. And here's a slow roller to Trujillo. He bobbles it a couple of times and will not have a play. And that'll be the first error of the contest. So you got a runner at first base and one man out, and here's Eddie Oswalt. Again, a very pivotal game in this 50 and over Cactus division. And I'm not saying that the team that loses today's game is out of the playoff picture, but it's going to be very difficult. You're going to have to win your last two of 6 pool play games and then hope for a little luck. And 3-3 can get you into the Cactus, definitely, as Alden Stiefel getting ready to rear back and fire. He's also an accomplished pitcher. Has played many years for the Chicago North Cubs. Behind the plate here today, he was catching when Chicago North won their first national championship back in 2013. Runner at first with one out. Robert Allen trying to maybe get a double play ball. See if he tries to keep it down. The runner is stealing, and he's going to be unsuccessful. So Hirschfield with a successful swipe of second base. Eddie Oswalt up there, and that takes the Chicago pinch hitter defense out of a potential double play situation. Now Oswalt. And that one is low and away, and a nice job there by Alden Stiefel keeping his body in front of the ball. Ready with the next pitch, and that is a strike, and that will run the count to 3-2 on Eddie Oswalt with Glenn Griffin on deck. One out, runner at second base. And that's ball 4, so the first walk issued by Robert Allen. Runners are at first and second for Madison. And now the cleanup hitter is Glenn Griffin. First pitch. And a called strike, 0-1. Robert Allen brings it plateward, and that's a strike 2 call. Looked a little high, and now Griffin is down, no balls and 2 strikes. Talking about Alden Stiefel, and you know, this is a 50 and over, but Alden, I think, is close to 60 years in age. I'm not sure his exact age, but I believe he told me a couple of years ago he was like in his late 50s back then, 56, 57. And a throwback that goes out into center field. They may have gotten him had Doug Carafoil come up with that ball. So 2 strikes on Glenn Griffin. You got runners at first and second, and the pitch is swung on and missed. Here's the throw down to third, and I believe they got him, and they did. That'll retire the side, so an outstanding throw by Alden Stiefel. And we are heading to the top of the second inning. No score from Salt River Fields in Scottsdale. And Anastastopoulos will lead things off here. He'll be followed by Carangella and John Tanaka. As we go to the top half of the second inning, and the first pitch is swung on and fouled out of play by Bill. Next pitch to Anastastopoulos is outside, ball 1. It's a great Greek name. It doesn't get any better than Bill's last name here. And if I'm butchering it, I don't think I am. I tried to get a pronunciation, but nobody on the team said that they could pronounce it. He's got some pretty good cuts up there so far against Jeff Adas. And there's Sonny on deck, hoping to come to the plate with the runner in scoring position. Here's a fly ball out in the center field. This is a long run and a nice basket catch out there by Mark Tyler. One down, one up and one down here in the top of the second inning. Sonny Carangello will be the batter. Actually, that is Steve Hill actually getting the start in center field. So one up, one down. Here's Sonny. And he got fisted on that one, and this is going to be a tough play. Might want to hold on to it, and it's thrown away. And here's the runner going to advance to second base. There'll be an infield hit and a throwing error on the pitcher. So you got a runner in scoring position. And now the batter is going to be left fielder John Tanaka. Good player, a spray hitter. He'll take the first offering from Jeff Adas, and that's a strike call. Luis Saldana is on deck here. No score, top of the second inning. The runner at second base is Carangello, representing the go-ahead run, and a bouncing ball down to first base, and that's going to be an easy play. And looks like Sean Michael is not at first base. This is Dan Ketter. Dan Ketter playing first base now for Madison. So that is the second out of the inning for the pinch hitters. They are 0 for 4 with runners in scoring position already in this game. And a strike called on Luis Saldana. Trying to push across the game's first run with Carangello at second base. The pitch is high. And here is a tapper to the shortstop. He fields and throws perfectly to first base to retire the side. His second assist of the day by Schoenfeld. And we are heading now to the bottom half of inning number 2 with Chicago and Madison locked in a scoreless tie. You're watching the 2022 Men's Senior Baseball League's World Series on APN. Glenn Griffin was at the plate. He'll get a fresh count. Well, actually, this is Steve Bird leading things off. Well, that's unusual, as this one is laced out into right center field. That ball's going to find the gap, and this should be extra bases. Let's see if he goes for it, and he's going to hold up at first. So Bird is aboard to start things off here with a base hit. That's the first hit of the ball game for Madison. And now the catcher, Omar Mendeville. Here's a ground ball to third. They'll go second one. They'll get the out there. The throw on to first, and that's a double play. 5-4-3, and there's 2 down here in the inning. So a good job down at the hot corner by Trujillo, getting that one started, and a nice turn by Carafoil at second base. So with 2 down, nobody on, here's Steve Hill. First pitch to him in there for a called strike, and it's 0-1. Salt River Fields in Scottsdale. We're on the Arizona Diamondbacks side of this facility. One ball and one strike to Steve Hill. Jason Foskett is on deck. Second inning of work for Robert Allen on the mound. And this one is lifted down the line. That's going to be out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. With 2 out, nobody on, and a bouncing ball up the middle. Here's the shortstop. Fields throws and got him. An outstanding defensive play by Wormser to retire the side. We got 2 in the books from Salt River Fields in Scottsdale. And you're watching the MSBL World Series. This is APNvideo.com. Well, the pinch hitters in their third attempt after Jeff Adas, the starting pitcher for Madison. They will send, well, this was supposed to be Robert Allen. And instead, this is Jimmy Romano. So Jim Romano and then Larry Severs, Alden Stiefel. First three here for the pinch hitters. Top half of inning number 3. On a blustery day here in Scottsdale. And a good pitch there by Jeff. Nice breaking ball. Got it in over the outside corner. A beautiful day. Our game time temperature right around 88 degrees. Romano up there leading off the top of the third, lifts one back of second, and a long running catch. Well, an outstanding play by Madison. And a nice running catch by the right fielder, Glenn Griffin. And that is the first out here to start the top half of the third inning for the Chicago pinch hitters. And now Larry Severs got the start in center field in the first pitch. He squares the bunt, and he takes outside ball 1. Coming to you on this October 18th, 2022. Fastball is inside. 1 ball, 2 balls now, and no strikes on Larry Severs. And he has climbed ahead, 3 balls and no strikes. Right-hander needs a strike, and he's going to get one. 3 balls and 1 strike now on Larry Severs. Bats here in the top half of the third inning. And that will run the count full. 3 balls and 2 strikes on him. So Jeff has fought back. Now the payoff pitch. And a chopping ball back to the mound. Jeff knocks it down. He'll throw him out at first base. And just like that, there is 2 down as the play goes 1-3. And Sean Michael Dargan is back out there. Or is that Mike? Well, that was Mike Wallace over there, I believe. 2 down. And now Alden Stiefel. Won a couple of national championships with the Chicago North Cubs. Now I think they're called the MXX. Two balls and no strikes to him. Nobody on with 2 out. We're in the top of the third inning. Well, on this date in baseball history, 1972, the Oakland A's rallied for a 2-run 9th-inning runs for a 3-2 victory over the Cincinnati Reds to even the World Series after 4 games. Nice catch at first base, then that'll retire the side. We're heading to the bottom half of the third inning, and we are scoreless from Salt River Fields in Scottsdale. Jason Foskett will start things off. Olivares and Mike Wallace to follow. And the first pitch is a called strike from Robert Allen. He has given up just 1 hit in 2 innings. He has walked a batter. He has struck out a batter in 2 innings of work, and he'll be going up against the bottom 3 in the lineup here for manager Ron Saslow's pinch hitters. 50 and over Cactus Division. Madison batting here in the bottom half of the third. And here's a looper to the first baseman, and he'll take care of business for out number 1. So a nice backpedaling catch for the first out by Sonny Carangella. And now Randy Oliveros will come to the plate. First pitch, nope, that's going to be Robert Allen holding off. And a fly ball down the left field line out of play on Randy. On this date in 1950, the great Connie Mack, at age 87, retired as manager of the Philadelphia Athletics after 50 years of managing. Part of the time, they were the Philadelphia Athletics and the Philadelphia Phillies. He got jammed on that one, and Robert Allen will apply the tag, and that'll go 1 unassisted, 2 down for Mike Wallace. Jimmy Dykes, popular name back in his day, was named to replace him, as this one is tapped foul third base side. No balls, 1 strike on Mike Wallace at the plate. 2 out, nobody on. Mack, together with Ben Scheib, founded the Athletics in 1901. I thought he was with the Phillies for a little bit, so I guess I was wrong on that. I mean, can you imagine managing for 50 years? And I know Tony La Russa is still going. And that is strike 3 called. That will end the 3rd inning. We are heading to the 4th. We got a good pitcher's duel between Madison and Chicago. This is APN. Jeff Adas coming out for inning number 4. Both pitchers, along with his counterpart in Robert Allen, 3 shutout innings. And Jeff has given up just 2 hits. He has not struck out a batter, nor has he walked a batter. Doug Carafoil led the game off with a base hit up the middle, and he will start things off here in the top of the 4th inning. A swing and a miss, and there's no balls and 1 strike. Pops it up and now quickly finds himself in an 0-2 hole. On this date in Major League Baseball history in 1973, the Mets, Jerry Koosman and Tug McGraw combined to 3-hit the Oakland A's to take a 3-2 series lead in the 1973 World Series. Ready with the 2-strike pitch. That's outside for a ball. And a good eye there by Doug. Didn't go chasing, and not a bad idea by Jeff trying to go out of the strike zone to get Doug to go fishing on that one. The pitch. And a ball lifted in the air and over the head of the second baseman, and that's going to drop in for a base hit. Well, Doug has a 2-for-2 day in the makings. That is the 3rd hit of the day for the pinch hitters. And now the shortstop, Josh Wormser. And it's going to get away from Omar and heading down to second on I would believe, a wild pitch. And so the pinch hitters 0-for-4 with runners in scoring position so far. Allen had set down 5 in a row and 7 of his last 8 before the base hit by Doug Carafoil. Pinch hitters at the plate, led by manager Ron Saslow and third base coach Bob Corvus. And here's the runner taking third. One of the things we talked about at the top of the broadcast is that Doug Carafoil is a guy that you really need to keep off the base paths. Now Josh Wormser has a golden opportunity to give his team the first run of the ball game. Jeff Adas almost hit Wormser on that one, and he lost him on ball 4. So now runners are at first and third. And a rally here for the pinch hitters with nobody out. He flied to left field his first time up and will take a strike, and Wormser will head down to second. Defensive indifference, no stolen base. Second and third occupied. Nobody out here in the top of the 4th inning. And he pops this one out of play. This date in Major League Baseball history was the date that Reggie hit the 3 consecutive home runs in Game 6 of the 1977 World Series. He saw 3 pitches and had 3 home runs. The last off Charlie Huff, a titanic shot to center field. And the Yankees went on to win their first World Championship since the early 60s. They went a long time without a world title. The straw that stirs the drink. Reggie Jackson, self-proclaimed tagline. He was something else, no doubt about it. And this one gets away from the catcher, but not far enough for the runner at third base to advance. Well, let's see if Perjanski can drive in the game's first run here. And he sends one into the air, center field, and racing in to make the catch. And the throw home will hold the runner at third. Nice defensive play out in center field. Well, I'll tell you, Steve Hill's getting the job done out there. He's made 2 nice plays. That is the first out here in the top of the 4th inning, and now Joe Evans, who was hit by a pitch back in the first. And he's first pitch swinging, popped up, Sean giving chase, and the catcher, and Msbl could not come up with it. No balls and 1 strike on Joe Evans. Evans bats here in the top half of the 4th inning. No score with the go-ahead run 90 feet away at third base. 2nd and 3rd occupied. And here's a chopping ball past the third baseman out into left field. And the pinch hitters have taken the 4th inning lead 1-0 on an RBI single by Joe Evans. So Doug Carafoil scoring. He's got 3 stolen bases on the day. Wormser moves to third. 1st and 3rd again for Ernesto Trujillo, the third baseman. Well, quick meeting of the mind, and now Jeff will climb back onto the pitcher's mound and facing the third baseman, Ernesto Trujillo. And the first pitch, and it scoots away from the catcher. Good reaction back there by Msbl. And it's 1 ball and no strikes on the third baseman, who bounces one towards the shortstop. This will score the run, as the only play is to first. Nice scoop there by Shawn Michael, and just like that, the pinch hitters lead it 2-0 on the ground ball, the 6-3 ground out, and an RBI credited to Ernesto Trujillo. And the first pitch to Bill is in there for a strike. Next delivery is taken just high for a ball, and it's even count on Bill at 1 ball and 1 strike. Anastasopoulos at the plate, right-handed hitter. Flied to center field his first and only time up. And he comes up empty-handed, and that runs the count at 1 ball and 2 strikes. You got a runner at third, 2 out. 2 runs have come across here for the pinch hitters, who lead it 2-0. The pitch missed way outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And now the count runs full. 3-2 on Bill. He sights the sign, and now the payoff pitch. And he got him swinging, and that'll retire the side. That is the first strikeout for Jeff in this game, as Chicago gets 2 and takes a 2-0 lead as we go to the bottom half of the 4th inning. This is APNvideo.com and the 2022 Msbl World Series. As we go to the top of the order here, Madison Blues out of Madison, Wisconsin, Andy Wynn, Steve Hirschfield, and Eddie Oswald. Ball 1, Robert Allen in his fourth inning of work. He has 2 strikeouts. And here's a ball lifted in the air into shallow center field, and the leadoff hitter is aboard. Second base hit of the day for the Blues, as that ball landed safely in front of Larry Severs in center field. So you got the leadoff hitter aboard. I would anticipate Andy Wynn will be attempting a steal here with Hirschfield, a guy that can handle the bat very well. He can hit behind runners as he takes a strike right down the middle, and Wynn is in pretty easily ahead of the throw of Alden Stiefel. So he is in scoring position. And a big cut and a miss. And this is actually Dargan batting from the left side. I didn't realize they were doing an A-B. So no balls and 2 strikes to Sean Michael Dargan. I'd like to thank him for setting up things here today, with giving us a little bit of his time going into the Hall of Fame, the Msbl Hall of Fame this week. And just a congratulations, read the story in the newsletter the other day, and then as this one is swung on and missed, held on by Alden Stiefel, might have got a piece of that, and that is going to be the 3rd punch out of the day for Robert Allen. There's 1 out, and the batter's going to be Eddie Oswalt. Talking about Dargan for a moment, I guess he's a big-time musician, and this was a really important week for him, and we will talk to him after the game. Didn't really have a lot of time before the game to get that. Swing and a miss. Eddie Oswalt walked. And a tapper to the right side, and this will be an easy play for Doug at second base. 2 down. Now you got a runner at third base. Madison 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position, and now Glenn Griffin. So Griffin comes to the plate. Runner at third, 2 outs. Madison trailing Chicago here in the bottom of the 4th inning by a score of 2-0. And they would love nothing more than to pick up that runner at third base and cut into that 2-0 lead when Chicago scored 2 in the top of this 4th inning. Here's the first pitch, and in there just under the knees, ball 1. Actually, 4 strikeouts now for Robert Allen. That was a strike him out, throw him out back in the 1st inning. And 2 balls and no strikes on your cleanup hitter, Glenn Griffin. Allen struck out 2 in the 1st inning. Comes back with a good pitch, good fastball that paints the inside corner. 2 balls and 1 strike. Steve Bird is on deck for the Madison Blues as they bat here in the bottom half of inning number 4. And here's a ball lifted to the first baseman, and he will make the catch to retire the side. So Sonny takes care of business here. We are heading now to the top of the 5th inning. A quick-moving game from Salt River Fields. 2-0 Chicago. This is APN. Sonny Carangelo will be going up against Jeff Adas to lead things off. He made the last out. How many times does that happen in a baseball game? As you get a look at the defense of Madison, and they trail it by a score of 2-0 as we go to the top of the 5th inning. Carangelo, Tanaka, and Luis Saldana will be the first 3 here. 4 innings of shutout pitching for Jeff Adas. Carangella did single off of him back in the second inning. And Madison, no runs on 4 hits so far. Or rather, Chicago, 2 runs on 4 hits. Madison, no runs, and they have had just 2 hits against Robert Allen. And this one is lifted in the air to straightaway center field, and that ball's going to drop in, and Sonny is working on a perfect 2-for-2 day at the plate. So the leadoff hitter is aboard for the pinch hitters. Both teams vying for a playoff spot in this pivotal Game 4. Both teams with just a 1-win, 2-loss record. And let's see if they play small ball with Tanaka. He squares the bunt. They do. And this ball's going to stay fair. And now the pitcher firing the first base, and it gets away from the first baseman. Tanaka now will head back to the bag, and all hands are going to be safe, and that'll be a throwing error on the pitcher. That was a tough play, and Sonny with some good base running moves to third. That'll be a sacrifice bunt and an error on the pitcher, the throwing error. And now with runners on the corners, Luis Saldana, who grounded to shortstop back in the second, will come to the plate. 2-0 Chicago. There goes Tanaka, and he will be in without a throw. Defensive indifference. And that pitch almost got a piece of the hitter, Luis Saldana, who's looking for his first hit of the ball game. So the pinch hitters are threatening again here. Though Jeff has pitched a very good game. He gave up 2 runs in that last inning. And here's a roller, a slow roller to the right side. It'll be an easy play for the second baseman, but the run will score. Saldana on a 4-3 ground out, credited with an RBI. And it's now 3-0 in favor of the Chicago pinch hitters. Runner at third with 1 out. And here's a bunt and a safety or suicide squeeze. And definitely going to be an easy play at first base, getting Jimmy Romero out at first base, but give him credit on the suicide squeeze. He gets the RBI. It goes 1-3 on the putout. 2 down now, nobody on, and it's 4-0 Chicago. And the first pitch to, well, let's see, this is not going to be Larry Severs. Instead, Ron Saslow is going to send to the plate. Well, I guess we don't have a number 22 on the roster, unfortunately. We're in the 50 and over Cactus Division, 2022 Msbl World Series. Unless this is Greg Harris. This is probably Greg Harris because he was late coming in, just arrived at Sky Harbor Airport and had to wait maybe a few innings to get into this game, and I think that's exactly who this is. So Greg Harris is up there with 2 out and nobody on against Jeff Adas, and here's the next pitch, and it's swung on and foul tipped. And actually, I think he totally missed it, and that'll be strike 3 to retire the side. But 2 more runs come across for Chicago, and they have their biggest lead of the afternoon. They lead it 4-0. We head to the home half of inning number 5. Well, you get off a plane, you strike out, a little frustrating. Maybe a little jet lag as we head now to the home half of the 5th inning. Steve Bird to start things off, the scheduled hitter, but instead, it looks like Tom Hopkins is going to stand in. Steve Bird 1 for 1, had a base hit back in the second, but this is Hopkins batting for the first time in this game against Robert Allen, who has thrown 4 innings of 2 hits, shutout baseball. He has struck out 4, and he has walked just 1 hitter in the game. So he has been pretty masterful through the first 4 innings. Home half of the 5th inning. Tom Hopkins, don't get too excited. This is not the motivational speaker. As he takes outside a ball this day, and Baseball history back in 1973, the Mets' Jerry Koosman and Tug McGraw combined to three-hit the Oakland A's and take a 3-2 series lead in the 1973 World Series. Jerry Koosman, borderline Hall of Famer, Tug McGraw, a premier reliever for many years, and a ground ball to the right side where the second baseman fields and has the first out. So one up and one down, and the catcher Omar Msbl, the scheduled hitter, and a nice job of staying down on the ball at second base. One up and one down here in the inning. Bill Anastasopoulos making the play at second base, 4-3 if you're scoring. Second time up for the catcher Omar Msbl. Hit into a 5-4-3 double play in the second inning. 4-0 Chicago as Madison, Wisconsin bats here in the bottom of the fifth inning. And this one is laced down the left field line. That's a fair ball. And a base hit for the Madison Blues catcher. And only the third hit off Robert Allen in this ball game. Steve Hill, the scheduled hitter. Steve has made a couple of nice defensive plays out in center field, and he takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Also on this day in MLB history, Reggie Jackson with the 3 home runs in that 77 series. As we're ready for the 0-1 pitch. And this one is popped out of play. With runners at second and third and a 3-2 count, the A's faked an intentional walk and struck Johnny Bench out looking in Game 3 of the 1972 World Series. Blue Moon Odom, fans 11. But Cincinnati's Jack Billingham is the winning pitcher, 1-0. Looper, right field, long run. That ball's going to drop in for a base hit. Second straight hit, and the throw to second. And here's the runner heading to third, and Msbl. How about that aggressive base running? And he's going to be in safe sliding at third. Well, I mean, the ball really did not elude the infielder at second base, and Msbl never broke stride as he goes all the way. And now runners are at first and third with one man out and Jason Foskett. Foskett coming up to the plate. First and third, one out. 4-0 Chicago in the field here. Madison Blues batting. And a crucial game here in the 50 Cactus. Runner goes, stifles throw to second, not in time. So now they are at second and third. That will be a stolen base for Stephen Hill. Blues could use a couple of runs here. And here's a ball hit past the third baseman down the line. And the Blues are finally on the board here in the bottom of the fifth inning. The third straight hit as Jason is aboard. And give him an RBI, and it's now 4-1 as Chicago's lead is cut to 3. That'll bring up Mike Schoenfeld, the starting shortstop for the Blues. Home half of the fifth inning. We're coming to you from Salt River Fields on a blustery afternoon in late October, and that's a called strike. Also in this date in 1967, the American League approved the athletic shift to Oakland as Kansas City has promised a new team by 1971, which would be, of course, the Royals. When Senator Stuart Symington, whose son, I believe, was the Fife Symington here in Arizona, and Kansas City Mayor Illis Davis threatened actions against the move as this ball is lifted in the air down the right field line. Long run and a nice catch. Sensational play by Jim Romano. He'll go for a sac fly, And the lead has been cut to 4-2. Outstanding catch out in right field. He had a long ways to go. And Romano showing off that gold glove. That is now out number 2. You still a runner at first base, and Mike Wallace. Runner goes, Alden Stiefel on a swing and a miss, and safe. So that is the second stolen base for the Madison Blues, who now have cut the lead in half at 4-3. They have stolen 4 bases in the game. 2 runs on 5 hits for the Blues. And now they got another runner in scoring position. And that one is outside for a ball. Two for 5 with runners in scoring position so far. And a called strike on Wallace on a pitch that didn't look all that bad. But he's up there in an RBI opportunity. And Robert Allen's pitch way outside. Tried to get Mike Wallace to fish for it, but finishing up that, the American League President Joe Cronin reopened talks, and the expansion deadline was moved forward to 1969. And it's interesting that Kansas City Athletics team, they were there after moving from Philadelphia. They were in Kansas City for 13 years and never had a winning season, but they built the foundation of those 3 consecutive championships, as that one is swung on and missed, and we are heading now to the bottom or the top of the 6th inning. It's 4-2 Chicago, and this is APN in the World Series 2022. Well, Madison is going to come out with a new pitcher. Jeff Adas went 5 innings, pitched a nice game, gave up 4 runs. And now we'll give way to Steve Hill. And he'll try to stop this Chicago pinch hitters lineup that has put 2 runs up in each of the last 2 frames. Top of the 6th inning, Chicago 4 and Madison 2. First pitch called strike. And batting for Alden Stiefel here is going to be Howard Lakin, and he promptly greets Stephen Hill with a base hit up the middle. That is hit number 6 for the pinch hitters. We go back to the top of the order, and second baseman Doug Carafoil. And there goes the runner. And here's the throw down, and the throw beat him, but it was a one-hop throw. And a tough ball to handle out there at second base. So that'll be a successful stolen base as Bill Baldwin, the second baseman, takes the throw. Yeah, that Kansas City Athletics team, I mean, when they got to Oakland, I mean, they truly gave the Bay Area a very good foundation. Players like Reggie Jackson, Catfish Hunter, Blue Moon Odom, Sal Bando, Bert Campaneris, and Joe Rudy, to name a half a dozen. And they went on to win 5 consecutive divisional titles in the early to mid-'70s, including World Championships in 72, 3, and 4. Are you impressed that I knew that off the top of my head? Here's a fly ball out into right center field, and this ball is going to fall in for a base hit. And I thought at first, as the throw to second is not in time, that's going to be an RBI 2-base hit for Doug Carafoil. And so Chicago back up by 3 on that man's 3rd consecutive hit. He is 3 for 3. He has scored once, he's driven in a run, and now Josh Wormser, the shortstop. And the reason I knew that, we just did the 3 games a day at the Coliseum, and I did a little research about the A's history in the stadium, and so that's how I knew all that. Runner at second base. Here's a ground ball down to third. It is knocked down by the third baseman. Wormser runs too well, and that'll be an error on the third baseman. bringing up Todd Projanski, the third-place hitter. Runners at first and second, still nobody out. 5 runs on 7 hits now for the Chicago pinch hitters, who are just 2 for 10 with runners in scoring position in this game, yet they lead at 5-2. The first pitch is a called strike, and it's 0-1. New pitcher Steve Hill giving up an earned run so far, and this one off the glove of the catcher to allow the runner from second to advance. And actually that ball hit Josh Wormser, and so now the bases are loaded for cleanup hitter Joe Evans. 5-2 pinch hitters and threatening for more. A run is in against new pitcher Steve Hill. And we're in the top of the 6th inning here from Salt River Fields in Scottsdale. And a big cut on and miss by Evans. Could use a strikeout right here. And here's a high fly ball out into left center field. And this ball is going to be playable. That's going to be deep enough to score the run. That'll be a sac fly for Evans. And now it's 6-2. You know, you look at what this pinch hitters club has done with runners in scoring position. Nice play out in center field. And, you know, you say, well, they were just 2 for 10 with runners in scoring position, but, you know, they have come through and produced 6 runs. You know, you got some sacrifice flies in there, and what did they have? They had a suicide squeeze last inning. So sometimes even that kind of statistic can be a little misleading. Now, if they were more like 4 for 10 with runners in scoring position, they may be up 9-2 here. Grounded down to third, step on the bag for 1 after the bobble, and the throw to first, a double play. Outstanding Sean Michael Dargan with the play at first base on the low throw, and the third baseman for this team really doing a good job of staying with it. So we have now played 5.5 as Mike Wallace down there at third, the 5-3 double play. But they get 2 runs and lead at 6-2 here in the bottom half of inning number 6. So a 5-3 double play. Madison, well, they need to get the bats going. And that's going to be a called strike. First time up, added to the bottom of the lineup is going to be Mark Taylor, and he skies one on the infield, playable for Carafoil. And he'll make a running basket catch for out number 1. So Madison trailing as they trail by 4 here. 6-2 is our score in favor of the Chicago pinch hitters. Back to the top of the order, and Andy Wynn, and he bounces the first pitch delivered to him into center field for a base hit. Well, he is 2 for 3, and a guy that you really want to keep off the base paths with that tremendous speed. Steve Hirschfield will bat for the 3rd time. I think he and Dargan are in that AB position. And I hope Shawn Michael has a chance to get back up there, as he is, again, going into the Msbl World Series Hall of Fame, a former D3 college player who is an accomplished musician, guitarist, vocals, and even plays the bagpipes. Of course, with a name like Shawn Michael Dargan, I think that's just automatic, as the runner was going on the pitch, and that's fouled out of play. Steve is 0 for 1. He reached on an error back in the first inning. Beautiful, warm day, breezy day here in the Valley of the Sun. Sonny Carangella still patrolling at first base. Alden Stiefel behind the plate. And there goes the runner, and Stiefel had a little bit of a tough time getting that ball out of the catcher's mitt, and that'll be a stolen base, the 2nd of the day for leadoff hitter Andy Wynn, doing his best Maury Wills out there. in there for a called strike. Or Paul Molitor was one of the great base stealers in Brewers history. So Hirschfield up there with a chance to drive in a run. Chicago 2 for 6 with runners in scoring position. This is the 6th inning of work for Robert Allen, who threw the first 4 innings and threw 3-hit shutout baseball, gave up 2 runs last inning, and this should get the runner over to third. Allen, a backward glance, but will have to go to first. And just like that, there is 2 down in the inning. A nice defensive play by Robert Allen. Runner at third with 2 out, and third place hitter Eddie Oswalt coming to the plate. Oswalt has walked. He is grounded to the second baseman. And the first pitch is high and away, ball 1. Again, special thanks to Ron Saslow for setting up today's broadcast, and Sean Michael Dargan as the Blues went ahead and went in on this broadcast and the production fees, and it was good. It's always good to see the guys splitting the cost, and we'll definitely be crediting the pinch hitters. Again, thanks to Ron for initially setting everything up. And these are 2 teams that I have to admit, these are 2 teams with a 2-ball, 1-strike count on Eddie Oswalt. A lot of good guys on these teams. It's a lot of fun bringing this coverage to you guys. And that's a strike called on a good, look like a 12-6 changeup maybe. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. 6-2. Madison batting here in the bottom of the 6th and trailing by 4. Chicago got 2 in the 4th, 2 in the 5th. Madison countered with 2 in the bottom of the 5th, but Chicago countered that with 2 more in the top of the 6th. Line drive, left field, and a diving attempt. That was a tremendous attempt out there in left field. And so with the run scoring, it's an RBI hit for Oswalt, and it's now 6-3. So they've cut the lead in half once again. And they're 3 for 8 with runners in scoring position. 2 down. Here's Glenn Griffin, the cleanup hitter. He had a healthy cut, fouled it back, 0-1. 50 and over Cactus Division. Salt River Fields, we're on Diamondback Field number 4 on this Sunsplash afternoon in the Valley of the Sun, Phoenix, Arizona. And here's a line drive, back a shortstop, go to second. They get the lead runner, and that'll retire the side. What a tremendous play out there. Josh Wormser. And at the end of 6, as Madison gets 1, we go to the 7th, 6-3 Chicago on apnvideo.com. You get a wide look at Diamondbacks Ramada Field number 4. Second inning of work for Steve Hill in relief of starting pitcher for Madison, Jeff Adas. Bill Anastastopoulos will start things off here for the Chicago pinch hitters. He has batted a couple of times looking for his first hit, and he fouls off the first offering from Steve Hill. So Bill batting here in the 7th inning. It's been pretty much all Chicago. I mean, the first time they scored was the 4th inning. They took a 2-0 lead. They had a 4-0 lead at one point. As this one is lifted in the air to center field and will be played on a sliding catch. Well, a fine play by Mark Tyler, and that's out number 1 here in the inning. So Mark Taylor with a nice play out in center field, 1 down in the inning. On a very blustery day here at Salt River Field, you can see the flags over the main stadium. So the first batter retired here, and the batter's going to be first baseman Sonny Carangella, who is 2 for 2 with a run scored. 1 ball, 1 strike, left-handed hitter taking all the way. The second inning of work in relief for Steve Hill. Top of the 7th inning. And a fly ball popped up back of shortstop. And for the 3rd time in this game, Sonny Carangella has come up with a base hit. 3 for 3. And that is hit number 8 for Chicago. And the next batter up is going to be John Tanaka. He is grounded to first, had a sacrifice bunt, and reached on the throwing error at the same time. So a runner at first and 1 out, and Tanaka had a good cut. Looked like he was trying to put one out of here, somewhat of an uppercut swing from the right-handed hitter. And a swing and a miss, and here's the throw down. And I don't think he made a tag, and the umpire says safe, and I think that was a good call. Well, a little decoy there by Jeff at second base. 2 strikes, and he goes down swinging. And that is the first strikeout of the day for Steve Hill in relief. And there is 2 out here in the top of the 2nd inning. And now Luis Saldana will come to the plate. Grounded to second base back in a 2-run 5th inning in which that drove in a run. Runner at second, the pitch. And a line drive towards the shortstop. Schoenfeld makes the play and the long throw across. Nice grab there by Shawn Michael, and the side is retired. So the woes continue a little bit here with runners in scoring position for Chicago. They come up empty-handed. They leave 1. They're 2 for 13 with men in scoring position. As Shawn Michael Dargan, professional touring musician, heads back to his dugout, and we go to the 7th inning stretch, bottom half of the 7th inning, and it's 6-2. Here's a looper, and this ball is going to drop in. Throw to first in time. Nice job. And just like that, there's 1 down here in the 7th. Carafoil has played a nice second base. 1 up and 1 down. And the batter is going to be Omar Msbl. Fastball high. He had a base hit and a run scored thanks to some very aggressive base running. He went first to third on a play that, on an overthrow, or a base hit down the line, I should say. And the throw went to second, and the throw beat him, but the ball got away from the infielder, but only by a couple of feet. And Omar never broke stride. He went all the way to third and was in safe sliding and came in on the RBI hit by Jason Foskett. He bounces one up the middle. He's got a 2 for 3 day. Hit number 8 for the Madison Blues, trailing by 4 here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And now pitcher, center fielder Steve Hill. Base hit, run scored in the 5th inning. Help get things going and getting Madison on the board. And the first pitch is low, ball 1. I'm assuming that's Howard Lakin behind the plate. And the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike on Steve Hill, with Foskett on deck. Robert Allen in his 7th inning of work on the mound here. And a ground ball down to third. The big Sunday hop. They'll go second 1. Throw it on to first, and that's a double play. 5-4 to 3. They were able to turn it, and that'll retire the side. So we head to inning number 8, and the Chicago pinch hitters lead Madison 6-3. I think I said 6-2 a couple of times. 6-3 is our scores. You get a look at Tempe Town Lake, a beautiful aerial shot from our APN crew here. Jeff Lowry with APNvideo.com, and you get to see some of the beautiful mountains, 4 peaks back there, and just some great hiking opportunities around the Valley of the Sun. So we go to the top of the 8th, Chicago back at it. They have 6 runs on 8 hits, and Jim Romano, the right fielder, will start things off. He'll be followed by Larry Severs, and I believe Alden Stiefel will be batting again here, who's 0 for 1. Third inning of work for the right-hander, Steve Hill. As Romano was taking all the way, laid down a perfect suicide squeeze. Starting to see that. We've seen 3 teams attempt it or be successful at it the other day. I can't remember who it was. I think it was maybe the Spokane Cubs laid down a suicide squeeze, and then they tried it 2 more times with the next hitter and failed. And I think in the father and son also. Way inside, Romano also made a tremendous catch in right field, racing towards the line. And he just threw a leadoff walk. And Chicago could probably use some runs. Now Larry Severs, who batted back in the 3rd inning and bounced out 1-3. Top of the 8th inning, do you play a little small ball here, or are you trying to play for a bigger inning? He lays a bunt down and fouls it off first base side. 0-1 on Severs. And a bunt out in front of the plate. Nice job. Hill's only play is to first base. Sean Michael over there on the putout. Sacrifice goes 1-3. And now the batter is going to be Alden Stiefel, the catcher, who's been sharing the catching duties. And I believe it is Howard Lakin. A little hard to read, but it looked like 1-2 on the back of his jersey. And a swing and a miss. Alden trying to pull a pitch that was on the outside part of the plate. No balls and 1 strike. Now, Alden is an accomplished pitcher. He's won some big games in the Msbl World Series, and we may end up seeing him if this game stays close. He chops one out in front of the plate, and a nice job by the catcher getting up there and getting it over to first base. So it works as good as a sacrifice. It goes 1-3. Of course, now 2 are out. And we go back to the top of the order. Yes, and Doug Carafoil, who is 3 for 3 in this game. He singled in the first, singled and scored in the 4th, doubled in a run in the 6th. He has scored twice, 3 for 3, and he also has 3 stolen bases. Runner at third, 2 outs. And here's a ground ball up the middle where the shortstop's got it, and Mike's throw is in time. That'll retire the side. So the first time they retire Doug, and we go to the bottom of the 8th inning, it's still 6-3 Chicago. And Robert Allen is coming out for inning number 8. He has pitched to Jim here. The Blues will send up Jason Foskett, who had an RBI single, a stolen base last time up. Ground ball off the pitcher's mound. I don't think they got a chance. Here's the throw, and it gets away from the first baseman. That's an infield hit. So Foskett on for the second time. He's 2 for 3. Hit number 9 for the Madison, Wisconsin Blues. And here's Mike Schoenfeld batting for the second time. Sacrifice fly back in that 5th inning. So 3 runs on 9 hits. You're looking at the Madison Blue faithful. Mike has done a sensational job at shortstop. He has really anchored the defense here today for the Wisconsin-based Blues. And here's a shot out into right field. That ball's going to drop in. Nope, it's a foul ball. Just foul down the right field line. Right-handed hitter. See if the runner takes off here against Robert Allen. They have had tremendous success on the base paths here today. They have stolen 4. I think they're 4 for 4. They are. And 2 strikes and holding. Fouls off another tough pitch. And I like what Robert Allen tried to do there to Mike Schoenfeld, is trying to run it in on him. And then he comes outside, and Mike is really battling. He has fouled off 3 two-strike pitches in a row, choking up on the plate, choking up on the bat, I should say. And that is strike 3 called. He was leaning into it a little bit, and that might have been a little deceiving to him. He didn't like the call, but it looked like it might have nipped the inside corner, and there's one down. Now Mike Wallace. And activity in the bullpen, and as expected, Alden Stiefel starts to loosen up for the Chicago pinch hitters. Wallace with a runner at first and one man out here in the home half of the 8th inning. The right-hander at 7 1/3 inning. He has given up 9 hits and 3 runs. And all 3 of the runs are earned. This one is popped up back of the catcher, and Howard looks it back into the grass. So a souvenir for one of the kids running around here. As Mike Wallace trying to get his Madison Blues a little closer. They trail 6-3 here, bottom of the 8th inning. Chicago will have 2, 3, and 4 coming up in the 9th. And a good eye by Mike Wallace there, who is trying to get the bat off his shoulders. 0 for 2 today with a couple of strikeouts. Both teams coming in here with a record of 1 win, 2 loss. And the pitch to Mike Wallace. And a line drive in the left field, dropping in for a hit. Mike Wallace reaching safely, and you got runners at first and second. Well, they're 3 for 8 with runners in scoring position, Madison, so far. And Ron Saslow is coming out, and that is going to be all for Robert Allen. And Alden Stiefel, who caught the first, 5 innings of this game, is now the new pitcher. So Robert Allen goes 7 1/3. He gives up 10 hits, 3 runs so far. Both runners on base, first and second occupied, are his responsibility. A break in the action from Salt River, 6-3 Chicago. Alden Stiefel now going up against Mark Tyler, the center fielder, and delivers ball 1 outside. So he has been brought on to get them out of this inning and maintain a 3-run lead for Chicago. And this one is popped up, and the first baseman, Sonny's got it, makes the two-handed grab. Boy, that is a huge out. So 2 pitches, 1 out. Madison is going to send Andy Wynn as we go back to the top of the order. He has singled his last 2 times up and takes ball 1. So bottom of the 8th inning, the tying run comes to the plate. Madison just 3 for 9. Well, that's not bad. 3 for 9 with runners in scoring position. And a swing and a foul evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. 2 out, first and second. And again, Andy Wynn, the tying run, and he swings and hits a fly ball out in the center field. And the shortstop racing out as Wormser will make the catch to retire the side. Alden comes on, 5 pitches, 2 outs, and we're going to the top of the 9th inning in this MSBL World Series. The Chicago pinch hitters lead at 6-3 on APMvideo.com. And another inning of work for Steve Hill in his 4th inning of work. And the pinch hitters probably would like to get maybe an insurance run or 2. 3 runs, certainly not a safe lead in any MSBL World Series game. And Wormser hits a bouncing ball down to third, gobbled up there by Wallace. Nice play, low throw, and Shawn Michael couldn't quite dig it out, and now the runner is heading to second, and he is going to be in. Shawn could not pick up the ball. So there'll be an error on the third baseman, and they have a runner in scoring position to start the top of the ninth inning. Madison doesn't want to get down anymore. They've been trailing this entire game, and now Projansky, who is 0 for 2, was hit by a pitch, and he sends a long soaring drive into left, and that ball is going to be caught. Nice play by Hirschfeld, and there's one down. Nice one-handed grab by the southpawer. And now Joe Evans. Perfect at the plate. He's been hit by a pitch, singled in a run, sac fly in the sixth. Let's see if the runner is going to go. Instead, ground ball towards the shortstop. And that's going to be picked up there by Mark, and they'll throw Mike, I should say. And now the runner's coming home, and he's going to score. That makes it 7-3 as Mike Schoenfeld throws out Evans. But Wormser really never broke stride, and he caught the Madison defense off guard. So that play goes 6-3, but took a little too long to develop, and by the time the first baseman got the throw home, actually Josh Wormser was almost in the dugout, and that's a hit batsman against Ernesto Trujillo, so the first time he has been on base here today. And now Sestopoulos still looking for his first hit of the ball game, digging in here. Chicago putting up 2 in the fourth, 2 in the fifth, 2 more in the sixth. Here's a ground ball, and Bill's got himself a base hit, a clean single ground ball up the middle. And so here is Chicago threatening again. And Carangella will now bat, the talented left-handed first baseman who is 3 for 3 going into this one. Going to get a courtesy runner. You see 44, Bob Corvus, longtime friend of the franchise, APN. And all Carangella has done is went 3 for 3 with a run scored here today. 7-3 Chicago with 2 on. And the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. But on the day, Chicago just 2 for 15, with runners in scoring position. This one skied down the right field line, and I believe a nice running catch there by the right fielder. That was an outstanding play. I apologize, the trees have grown since the last time we were here. So they get a run and now lead 7-3. Alden Stiefel will come out for inning number 2 of work. And Madison has their work cut out for them. Bottom half of the ninth inning from Salt River Fields in Scottsdale. Number 2, 3, 4 hitters coming up for Madison, and that is a called strike 1. Good pitch. Well, Jeff was the starting pitcher here today, batting for the first time, and he lifts a ball into center field. That ball is going to be caught. A nice running catch out into center field, and that's going to be out number 1. Excellent play by Larry Severs, who's played, I believe, all 9 innings out in center field. So out number 1. Alden has thrown 6 pitches so far, and he's recorded 3 outs. Eddie Oswald for the 4th time. Walk, single, RBI. He is grounded to second. Chicago in the field leading at 7-3. He rocks and delivers, and he missed inside, 2-1. And Eddie bounces one foul, and a 2-strike pitch coming up. There's a close-up of Alden Stiefel, longtime Chicago North Cubbies player. And he's 2 strikes and dealing with 1 out and nobody on. And a ground ball to the left side, and that ball is going to be fielded by Wormser. The throw across, not in time. It was a little high. He had enough on it, and then the ball goes out of play and into the dugout, and so Oswald heads to second. It'll be a throwing error on the shortstop. It's an infield hit and hit number 11 for Madison. And we're going to get a courtesy runner for Eddie Oswald as number 8, Todd Edwards, comes out. And the batter is Glenn Griffin. And he lines one over the second baseman's head. Base hit. Severs comes up with it. And runners will be at first and third. Hit number 12. And you got runners at first and second, so they have gotten through against Alden Stiefel. He has given up back-to-back hits after setting down the first 3 that he has faced. One out here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Madison trailing 7-3. And Tom Hopkins batting for the second time. He bounced out to the second baseman, his first and only time up in the 5th. 7-3, Chicago leads it. Madison at the plate. And Hopkins went after that sinking fastball by Alden Stiefel. Strike 3 called. Here's the runner down to second and just ahead of the throw. So runners are at second and third. A strikeout of Hopkins, and now the pinch hitter's 1 out away. Omar Mendeville, the catcher for the Blues. And the first pitch bounces up there. Nice stop by Howard, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. The winner of this game will be in line for the playoffs, so they may have to win one of the final 2, maybe both games. But if you fall in this game, you drop to 1 and 3, your chances of making the playoffs are kind of slim. Here's a ground ball up the middle. The second baseman and could not make a play on it. 1 run is in, and it's now 7-4. You got a runner at first and third, so that's going to – I don't think you got to rule that an infield hit. That ball just kind of died once it hit the – I think the ball actually hit the rubber on the pitcher's mound. So now Steve Hill up there. Runners are at first and third, and Hill, with the score 7-4, represents a tying run for Madison. And he grounds one to the third baseman, who throws it to second, and he can't make a play on it. He just lobbed it over there, and so a tough play for Carafoil. That'll be an error. No RBI. That was with 2 out. The run is in at 7-5. And now Jason Foskett is up there with a couple of men ahead, first and second. 2 men out here in the bottom of the 9th inning. And the score 7-5, and he laces one out into left field. That will put him station to station, and the bases are loaded. His 3rd hit of the day. Hit number 14 for the Blues, and now Mike Schoenfeld with a chance to win it. And that is going to be all for Alden Stiefel. And we've got a new pitcher in for the pinch hitters. So Mike Schoenfeld with the score 7-5. And this one gets away. Will this score the run? It will, and it's 7-6. Boy, I'll tell you, Chicago coming undone here in the bottom of the 9th inning. And now Mike with a chance to win it. And here's a shot back into deep left center field. That ball's going to get down. 2 runs are going to score, and Madison, with 5 runs here in the bottom of the 9th inning, have taken this game by a final score of 8-7. Steve Hill, the winning pitcher, and Mike Schoenfeld coming through with the big 2-run single to left center field. Madison goes to 2 wins and 2 losses. The pinch hitters drop to 1 and 3. This has been a presentation of APM Video Sports, Arizona's leader in sports video coverage. And we're going to have a quick chat with new Hall of Fame inductee, Sean Michael Dargan. Stay with us.
You know what? The cat who hit it, Mike Schoenfeld, comes through like that all the time in the clutch. I was not surprised. That is just, we got a team full of gamers, and we knew that it would take 9 innings to win this game. And what do you know? We did it in the 9th. It's a tremendous honor. I've been in this league for over 10 years now, and I was commissioner of my local league for almost 8. And I love that gig. I love playing. I love leading the league. It's a great group of guys in our league. We have almost 400 guys in our league at home in Madison, Wisconsin, and it's just an honor. It's a terrific national organization with entities all over the country, and we're just happy to be part of the big family. Well, I mean, what an opportunity to play baseball in October. Every kid dreams of that, right? And here we are in October playing baseball. And my wife told me that it snowed in Madison yesterday, so I'm not too sad to be away from that for a couple of days. Yeah, it's just a great opportunity to come here and play with all these great guys.
What was it feeling like? You guys were down
7-3.
7-3 going into the bottom of the ninth, down 7-3. What was the mood in the dugout?
You know, these guys, we all trust each other, and we know we're going to come back. We talked about it in the dugout going into the ninth inning that we're never done until we get that last out, and that's what we did. We got everybody around, moved the runners, got guys on base, and you know, when it happens, it happens. That's what you do. It's a team victory.
Were you looking for a particular pitcher?
No, I'm just looking for a good pitch to hit and hit it hard. And he put one in the spot where I was looking, and that's what happened.
It looked like you were slightly down.
Well, it was out in front enough to get it in that gap, which even that win was a challenge to us.
You gave it a ride. You guys get a big victory. This was kind of a must-win for both teams. And congratulations.
Thank you.